What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sammy's Place. I am Sam A. Today we're going to get into the album Moodring from Mya. This is my favorite album from Mya, so I like the fact that we're going to touch up on this one. It's the 20th anniversary. It was released in July 22nd of 2003. Sorry, there's a couple of release dates here. It was released at different dates in Japan, UK, you know how it is. Anyway, so in my opinion, Mya doesn't get the credit that she deserves as an entertainer, as a performer, especially as a dancer. She should definitely be mentioned along with the names of like Janet, Aaliyah, Sierra. Like, Mya could fucking dance. And it's funny, her music is just as good. She has her own sound, her own vibe, her own presence. She's still kind of almost forgotten about. Like, a lot of the time, she isn't mentioned in these list of names when it comes to R&B and especially dancers, skilled performers and their stage presence. You watch a Mya performance, there's just this classy, confident sexiness when it comes to owning the stage, and she's so fluid in her moves, and her fucking choreography is nuts. So she's an advanced dancer, so I'm always surprised that no one really mentions her or acknowledges that talent of hers, especially as a businesswoman. Like, the way she handles her shit, I've learned a lot through Mya, and when it comes to the music industry, through watching her interviews and just her on social media, the little things that she discusses. This is where I learned that a lot of these artists that go independent see way more money, but yet sell way less after being signed with a major label in comparison to being independent. You know, they sell less albums, but yet they see way more fucking money. But when they're signed to a major label, they're seeing way more sales, but they're seeing less money. These labels will just fucking take as much as they can from you, which obviously is the business side of things, so why not? Anyway, so this album, for me, I feel like this was like her moment. This was like her big moment. Fear of Flying, I feel like, was the ladder to that. She actually said that she didn't like that album, that it wasn't what she wanted as an album, that there was like this war at her label between her former manager and like the CEO or some shit. So that went a whole direction she didn't want. And when it came to Moodring, she wanted to go into a direction of where she took controls. Like, she even paid for her own recording sessions and shit. And it makes sense, because when you're working on the label's time, you're also working on their dollars. So you're paying for that in the long run. That's just all going to come back to them in your sales. So she took it upon herself to go in there, rate her shit, produce her shit, get the list of producers, reach out to those people, pay for her own studio time. So like, she sees more money in the end. I suppose that's why she did it, but also probably just to have more control on the direction and sound of the album. It was originally called Smoke and Mirrors, and she said she recorded over 60 songs, like even on tour and shit. And some of them, if I'm not mistaken, were from the Fear of Flying era. And she wrote like 99.9% of the album and co-produced a lot of the songs. And she used several songs that were recorded 2 years prior. So that was the thing. It actually just goes to show you that if she actually took control more of her albums prior, it would have had probably a better sound. I honestly like the sound of Fear of Flying. It's another favorite album of mine, especially of Mya's. So it's hard for me to see or hear anything better than that, because I just like it as a solid project. But then in comparison to Moodring, which she had more control on, I like the direction of it. It was kind of a little bit of everything. You know, you had the urban cut beats, where she worked with like who was it? Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Ron Fair, Rock Wilder, Jimmy Jam, and Terry Lewis. Like, it was a good blend of different elements of like R&B and hip hop and baby making to Prince vibes. It flowed really well from one song to the next, and there was growth and maturity definitely in the sound and the choice of lyrics. Like, she even talks about missing her fucking period. And then the videos, like My Love Is Like Whoa, the song itself was a fucking smash. It was all over the radio. Like, you cannot fucking not put on the TV and not see that song at least once or a few times, actually. And I was not mad about that. That video alone brought the song to a whole nother fucking level. We really saw shit, Mya can fucking dance. Then you had the second single, Fallen. Such a great fucking R&B song. Like, I remember so many times that shit would just be playing. Like, I'd have the music channel on and all these songs would be going on, and Fallen would come on, and it offered something really nice to, especially the summer. And that's a song I actually go back to a lot of times. And then another one is Whatever Bitch. That's another favorite off of there, when she performed it at the Pepsi Smash. Sorry, not performed it, but she had like a dance break that consisted of Whatever Bitch. And it gave us a glimpse of what she could have done with the song. I wish they would have put a video up for that. I guarantee that would have brought Mya and the album to a whole nother fucking level. When you imagine the choreography to that, especially at that time, like when she performs that song now, it's obviously a dance number. So that would have been like, you know what So Excited and All Night Don't Stop is for Janet. It would have been a moment of like choreography and shit. And I feel like Mya needed more of that, bro. And that song was just so fucking perfect for that. And no one was doing that at that time. Like, no one was doing whacking and voguing and shit like that. Well, obviously, aside from fucking Madonna, but Mya really went, like, whacking and all that shit and did it differently than from what Madonna did. Like, the choreography was just a little bit more advanced, and it took a little bit more effort, in my opinion. So this album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 with its first week sales of 113 copies. And now this was Mya's highest debut in her first week sales. Later on, it was certified gold, and it sold 589,000 copies in the US. There was a potential third single, Things Come and Go, with Sean Paul. The label thought that would have been great for the international success due to Sean Paul and his status of stardom at the moment. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. They pulled the plug on that idea. I actually love that song, and I was hoping that they would use that as a single, but unfortunately they didn't. More songs are on there that actually had potential to be singles, and given that Mya was in a place where her name actually had weight, she was very much played and listened to, radio, TV. She was even in the fucking Coca-Cola commercial with Common that had the song Compared to What. Later on, she went on a tour, the Moodring tour. She was in that movie Cursed, and she did a couple of movies, Chicago and shit, and then did the Liberation album. That album got shelved because it was leaked, and she got out of that deal, and then that's when she went completely independent. She released that KISS album, or the first it was Sugar and Spice, I think it was. That one she only released in Japan. Then she moved on to the KISS album. I like that album. I think that was like her last decent album. The stuff she's released since then, it's good. It's just I find it's missing something. It's missing hits, unfortunately. But like even the Liberation album, I didn't like the stuff that was on there. Lock You Down, the choreography was really dope, but aside from that, the entirety of the album was just I was okay with it not having it, or it not being released. But I feel for her. You know, you put this much work into a project and then it gets leaked. I'm sure you'd be really upset. So that's what made her go completely independent. She was tired of the politics and the shadiness of the music industry and being in that space. I would be too. It could be a little bit draining, especially when it fucks up your plans.